These has been the draft coming through. Nautilus coming through as an answer on Tsunami. That does let you attack. If you have a jungler coming down, it allows you to have some setup. Very standard stuff so far for this patch.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think, like you're saying, we expected there to be a heavy priority placed upon certainly something. Is the Lucian, obviously, gets banned out majority of the games. I believe it's the most banned champion in the league. Still might have been slightly overtaken by the Wukong by this point, but no surprise that that is going to be going in that direction. I think important to note as well, although it's not really the case now that you've gone for the Nami, but initially could have obviously been flexed into that mid, even into that top lane, into a lot of the champions that Cabochard would have ended up playing. But as we rattle down to the second ban phase, no surprise that champions are and I expect another top ban being given, which again, to take place on these carries.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we're seeing these topside bans come through because in my mind, I'm only seeing that K-Corp is going to be going for an AD carry pick here. Maybe they're looking for the Misfortune as well. That was something they heavily prioritized yesterday. Allows you to play around with the range a little bit. Saya is another good option because it allows you to get that kind of disengage, but laning phase, little bit rough to play. Or even just Israel, actually, so you can allow Hentera to get out of the map. Now that I think about it, Israel might just be the best bet in this case to kind of answer the aggression coming through from a Lucian Nami lane with a bit little more defensive option is that in that Arcane Shift. And yeah, Reckless is hovering that lookalike Eshril at the moment.
Looks like you as well.
Kind of a little bit. You know, I was
Give me,
actually
come on,
asking
come on,
Nearly
come
see
on.
if I can get like the Debonair suit. I wanted to do like a lookalike with the Debonair, you know, the white suit, purple shirt inside, but unfortunately not been able to make it happen yet.
What champion do I look like? And if you say Gragas, we're not friends anymore.
It's a
Don't
solid
bother.
nocturne
Don't.
for me, mate.
No.
He's bold.
Wait, is he?
Well, he doesn't have hair, I think. He's a skull.
Yeah, but that doesn't. This is terrible from you. But anyway,
You didn't say. I
blind,
didn't say Gragas.
blind top lane. Blind top lane here. No surprise, it is going to be another Ornn performance from Shigenda here. Seen him on it before. Now it's a chance for Cabochard to find something. I mean, with the Darius open, could be decent here, but I feel like with the composition they're trying to build, it might not be the right fit.
Yeah, they have loads of option. Even the likes of GP can be something they want to look for here if they want to play around with some of the range that you get from Talia, Ezreal as well. You'd lead like normal laning phase into the likes of Dion as well. But it's going to be the standard matchup that we've seen so many times into Dion itself. If you want to respond with a tank, used to be Gragas back in the day. Nowadays, it will just be that Sejuani. We talked about it a little bit earlier where it kind of allows you to get aggressive. Sejuani has leeway to take an Ignite and Teleport instead to try and get some kill pressure because despite being tanks, they actually brawl just a little bit, quite a bit. We saw it earlier as well. You'll know what I'm talking about. Let's see if it happens this game as well. But two interesting composition has been built out here, and really, I don't see a specific winner just by first glance. I feel like a lot of this just comes down to the way the teams play it.
I feel like both teams have kind of really got traditional, excluding I think Shigenda not being on a carry.
Yeah.
To me, this is very much a typical draft for both of these teams, barring a few things. You have Reckless on island duty. I think the only difficulty now really is you do see Hantera a lot of the time sacking that lane and then putting a tent in the top side. You're not going to be able to get much of an advantage. I think more of the
No.
advantage has to be gained through mid. I think mid has to be a real focal point in terms of can Diplex weather the storm. He needs to be careful if he doesn't have those summoners. He's going to be very susceptible to ganks, for example. The 3 minute mark is really important in this game, I feel like.
And I also think, just in general, that the fact that we know we were talking about what players are we focusing on. Well, we're ruling Sugenda and Caproshot out just a little bit. Yes, we can have a look at it if that, kill pressure does come through with the Ignite. But outside of the fact, it's going to be a lot about the mid 2v2s as well. Who gets the mid lane prior? Who gets to skirmish around with their jungler then? You have Sinsao on one side, you have Viego on the other side. Two of these jungler that loves to get aggressive in the early game to try and build leads through either going in and invading on Crocs or on the Raptor side instead. And that's going to be pivotal when there's pick potential in both mid laners. Of course, the charm coming through from Ari or the knockback. Of course, with Talia as well, now setting up for stun instead if a dash were to come through. And then from the bot lane, from the side of K-Corp, it's going to be about surviving. If Reckless is doing a job where he's staying even in farm, falling behind a little bit in plates, but not dying, then he's doing a great job while Hintera is looking to influence a map. And on the opposite side of that coin, well, if Jeskler can actually get leads for himself, get these kills, build up a gold lead, well, hopefully he'll be able to take control of the map so they can rotate the bot lane around and play around that.
I feel a lot of this game is going to be around about Seiken, especially you think about how good this Talia champion is in something like Kalista that dashes around a lot. You can punish the dash of Lucian, find these crucial picks. It's going to be a really big thing, but we're going to be cutting and throwing away to a video right now, but we'll be seeing you very shortly. on to the Rift now for what is arguably one of your game of the days. We have a very stacked schedule today, obviously, with the previous game that's occurred. Karmine Corp versus Vitality.B. I'm just going to try and get my mic set up so I can stand up and really allow my voice to boom. You take over.
Yeah, well, okay, let me get it through here. So, standard laning plays so far. No cheeky business from either laner. Really, today's game has been about going down in that bot side bush, get a little ward down, get control around that area, see if you can retain some bot lane control, and cheat laning phase just a little bit by that way. You can already see if we take a look at the trinket, very standard for at least one jungler. Skiing tier has gone for the sweeper instead. On the side of Corp, it's actually Hantara who's gone for the sweeper himself. If they spot out a ward in the early game, well, there is some leeway for you to get some extra gold and a little extra experience that can matter. Remember, if you're solo laner who pick up a ward in the early game, well, you will get level 2 on the first wave because you're not sharing it.
One of the major problems with standing up while I cast...
Are you good to go? Do I continue on the rambling?
Yeah, one of the major problems, Goldborg, when I stand up and I cast is that all of the champions start to look like ants. And they look like, the champions look like ants, Goldborg.
Well, how tall are you? 7'5".
We'll say that. That's our official party line. Definitely not 5'7". Anyway, Karmine Corp. Flash forward. Diplex has to respond there. We spoke about how crucial this 3 mark is going to be for the mid lane. Diplex now without that flash. Hantara having burned it early. Now look towards those roams early as Vitality.B seems to be contesting this red buff now. It's going for around 1k. Going to reset. Should spell the end of action here. But importantly, as we just mentioned, Diplex not having flash. Look towards Hantara around this 3-minute mark. If he can get that roam off into the mid lane, it's going to be so crucial.
Yeah, you're 100% right. That's a point of protection. Right? Even if you can't get the support up there, well, obviously 113 should be looking at that mid lane to try and secure at least, you know, a punish on Diplex that is now starting laning phase without a flash. Of course, it goes both ways. Hantara is now laning without flash himself, and Lucian Nami, incredibly annoying lane to play against, specifically as a melee. If your hook is on cooldown, you have nothing to do, and all you really have is just a shield to try and mitigate some of the damage. So Lucian Nami expecting them to take priority off the bottom lane. Level 2 come through from Jacktroll, not from Hantara.
Do it. Hantara finds the hook here. Jacktroll's going to have to flash out. And although you think of the Lucian Nami lane being rather aggressive, it is all summoners being burned. Karmine Corp reckless, showing some early domination in this game.
I don't know what happened there. I think they didn't realize that Jeskla wasn't going to get level 2 once the 2 melees got taken out on the second wave. Jeskla must have been a little too late to the lane, and thus allowed Reckless and Hantara to hit level 2 before the Lucian could get it, so they're not winning out of the trade. Unfortunate circumstances that comes down to the pathing after the early invade that Corp facilitated.
Yeah, really crucial mistake being made there, interestingly enough. 113 pathing away from this bot lane now in the top side. Jeskla has screens on the way there, but that is the potency that we spoke about, this Lucian Nami lane. Once you do reach 2, so much burst damage being able to be done.
Yeah, and honestly, I quite often speak with Fox about this from the LPL because he loves this lane so much. We played it a couple of times to do that. It's a little bit of a misconception with Lucian Nami as well, that a lot of people feel like you have to take control in laning phase, but there's actually still leeway once you start finishing out the first mythic item. If Nami goes for the Imperial Mandate and Lucian gets the Gale Force or Kraken Slayer, depending on what he's trying to go for, there's a lot of potency and damage still available to come out if you're going in evening, and specifically when you're going up against an Ezreal, he's not going to be able to match the damage on the first item spike, specifically not when we quite often either see Essence Reaver or Mana being finished up for the likes of Ezreal.
Absolutely, and we have passed that 4-minute mark now, and we spoke about how it was going to be an important point of contention that we get a roam into that to influence that side of the map. It's not quite happened yet. I think what has happened is that more of a pivot towards bot lane control has occurred, and we've nullified somewhat the level 2 to 3 advantage you'd expect coming out. It's not the case that Hantara's putting it, you know, talk about Hantara being the support where he lays his hat, he lays his home. Sometimes he's leaving Reckless on his own, but sticking around for a little bit longer this time.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to as well. In this scenario where you're playing against a Lucian Nami, you have to get the crash on the wave, and then a slow push will build up against you, and then you can start roaming while Reckless is kind of sitting back, knowing that a wave slowly but surely is being built up towards him and he can farm it up on the tower. And that's where you send Hantara out. But, you know, taking stock at something completely different, both junglers have made it down towards this bottom side as well. Skeen's been spotted out on Vision now. 113 still not spotted himself. I think he was just now. but both teams realizing that bot lane is a point of pressure and attack so far. And with the bot lane priority and the Drake spawning in just less than 10 seconds.
They might be able to just slow push this and then go towards the Drake. You can see 113 already going to be starting that up. He's obviously Zoom would be on vision unless he's just about managed to avoid that.
So what he did was that he W'd from the wall and then he E'd over so he wasn't spotted by the Scuttle Crab instead. So they actually have no idea that he's doing this, and now with the Scuttle Crab gone, he should be able to pick it up.
Little trick for all of you junglers in solo queue if you're playing your Xin Zhao. Wait a little bit of vision there.
On you, the jungler in this conversation, buddy.
Well, you know, I know this now, but you know me, I'm a Nunu one trick. I'm not going to do Xin Zhao. That requires hands and fingers and brains. But in any case, speaking of brains, very intelligent from Karmine Corp there to set up a slow push, mean that Vitality.B have to respond to around about 2 to 3 waves under that turret. It means they can get that early dragon. Vitality.B, a team that need to get off these conditions in the early game almost. They obviously do have the scaling option somewhat of that horn. They're going to be buffing up later. Just because a real damage option. But into this Talia, into champions like the Xin Zhao, Sejuani, it's going to be a difficult job. It's sort of similar to the previous game we had where Inax just had so much to do. I feel like Jesklo, if he doesn't get an advantage this game, Gulborg, going to be very hard pressed to have an impact.
Yeah, but once again, as I said earlier, if he goes even on the first mythic items, it's still kind of fine. But to take stock at something completely different, right? The mid lane, as we were talking about, Diplex has managed to stay the entire laning phase without falling, with no flash, into the Talia, and into Talia with specifically Ghost and Flash to kind of just, you know, lessen that range in between them. Now, Skeens and Jack Troll is around the mid lane looking for something, and Terra was around as well, but looks like they're not able to find any windows to create a point of attack. And with the jungler on the top side in 113, it's just gonna go back to standard lanes. But now with mid lane prio, maybe they're looking to move it down towards the bottom side.
Definitely the case. No windows to be found, but some XP to be gained maybe in this bot lane. Hasta la vista is Hantera out of there. Do avoid the ensuing onslaught that could have been Vitality.B in this bot lane. Not able to quite acquiesce or demand any sort of extra attention. It's going to be Reckless and Hantera smelling out the danger there. We are now rattling down towards that Rift Herald that will be spawning in around a minute or so. Gulborg, talk me through. Who is this Rift Herald? Who does it belong to? What do they have to do?
Well, before that happens, there's actually a movement coming through from the likes of Capushot. He might just be taking over the Scuttle Crab, which of course is going to facilitate a little bit of vision around that. But it's going to come down to the push or the move up from the bot lane. I think that's going to be what influences it. If the recall comes through from the Vitality bot lane first and they're put in a position where they can stand up, that's going to be great. But currently, they're being pushed in on the mid lane, they're being pushed in on the top side, and I struggle to see how Vitality is going to be able to keep up with the pressure to really match a good Rift Herald fight.
That's definitely the case. It's definitely the case of with Karmine Corp being able to keep up that tempo, rather even in terms of goal, but in terms of how the map has been set up. No particular advantage is being gained, and I feel like bot lane had to get that advantage early somewhat into your Ezreal Nautilus. It's kind of the way that Karmine Corp have set themselves up now. Now with Cabochard, a bit lower on mana, and that Rift Herald spawning, you see Hantera going up through the mid lane, trying to get a little bit of XP to get to this level 6 mark.
So here's what we want to see from this side of Vitality here, actually. So you can see that they're moving Reckless up, or at least on the minimap, they're moving him up a little bit. What we wanted to see here is that Vitality.B is kind of faking that they want to contest the Rift Herald, and by doing so, you would kind of make them make the call that Reckless was going to make it all the way up there and try and take the Rift Herald. Because either way, K-Corp is getting this Rift Herald, but now Reckless is just going to be making his way down. He's going to try and defend the plates being taken off a little bit, but it might not matter too much in this situation because it is Lucian Nami, and they probably should be able to fend him away from this situation. But it's something to pay attention to the future, like Herald plays you see in pro play.
Very insightful commentary from you there, Gulborg. More insightful. Will Reckless have to be here to avoid this? Jester goes rather aggressive. It's going to be the R away, rather the E away, the arcane shift away from Reckless. Shifts his attentions away from this turret, and it's going to mean that Jester and Jack Troll a little bit more of an advantage in terms of their plates here. Obviously, Hantera a little bit slow off this Rift Herald. 113 has the Rift Herald now, and in which ways can he enable the map with it?
Well, I feel like if you get priority from top side or bot lane and move Hantera out and you can open up the mid lane, that really just allows you to get pressure mid lane and always push it down towards the bot side afterwards. It's going to be difficult to set it up for Reckless unless that it's a move from Seiken coming down. I think it's some good rotations coming through from in conjunction of either Seiken or Hantera that really sets up this Rift Herald together with 113, but I'm really not expecting it to go top. It has to be between the mid and the bot lane. Now
Hantera's found Jack Troll here. A little bit scared of the return damage there. I think could have gone a little bit more aggressive there. A little bit of time to work with, obviously with that W as well. Combat summoners. Reckless having that exhaust, but crucial to note is that they just don't have to. With this dragon spawning in around 30 seconds or so, I feel like Karmine Corp showing a little bit more discipline than they normally do. I think one of the key central problems for them in recent games is a little bit of damage. Just going to going Hantera's way. Is this kind of over-aggression sometimes? 1-1-3, we saw it yesterday into the enemy jungle against Trundle. Really was what enabled Zanzara. All the time you see Hantera make these small mistakes, he's kind of been characterized for it somewhat in previous splits. And
it's definitely been a cleanup this time around.
Yeah, 100%.
Now Drake being spawned up in, well, just right now. Bot lane prior has been gained. Mid is kind of neutral right now, but anyone can move whenever they want to. Of course, Saken does have that wall. Diplex quite mobile as well, but Vitality not really feeling themselves to go for it right now. Of course, they could just mist over it here. Skeens is just going to be letting himself know that they have started this, and immediately the movement starts coming through from the rest of the map too.
Look at Saken here. What kind of a Weaver's Wall can he get to build space here? Diplex, if Saken can get that Weaver's Wall to surround Diplex here, it's going to be the case Diplex is going to have to commit that ultimate to even be able to get into the fight. We've obviously not reached that point yet. 1-1-3 still on that drum. It's a tepid affair as both teams encircle around each other. Both showing a bit of hesitation. Does seem to be the case at 1-1-3, and Karmine Corp are going to be starting the dragon up now.
Right there for Hantera. Skeens can
engage on to Hantera here. Look towards your reset here. Hantera's gone quite low. He flashes over the wall now. 1-1-3's doing a lot of damage. He finds your first blood. He's done so much in this fight. Gets Jesper here. Weaver's Wall comes over. It's not managed to quite catch up. Skeens there. Jack falls away. Not quite managed to do it, but surely Skeens the dragon does go the way of Karmine Corp after the wave has crashed in.
And a great pickup as well, Jeskler. I don't realize if he actually backed and got the Gale Force just yet, but he was going to be the point of attack. You're going to be playing around this Lucian, dashes too far forward, and 1-1-3 with the wind becomes lightning. Find a beautiful pickup on towards Glester, despite him flashing away for what he thought was the danger.
So it's obviously accelerated him towards getting this mythic. Now he's slightly ahead of Skeens now. He's bought himself a little bit of time now. Going to buy himself another dragon as well with this 2-dragon lead now. Vitality.B, you speak about them. We've spoken about it so many times, Goldborg, how they're a team that need these conditions to be met in the early game. They survived and weathered the storm of that mid lane where we thought was going to be a focal point, but it's actually shifted towards the bot lane. Reckless and Hantera actually able to pretty much go relatively even in a lane where you'd expect them to have a severe disadvantage. A lot of that comes from the early opening to the lane. I think Jeskler making a rather big mistake in regards to how he didn't enter the lane, you'd imagine, due to that XP deficit. And now Karmine Corp are poised to just continue the momentum forward.
Yeah, Rift Arrow comes through here. We talked about it. It's going to be through some movement. Not from Saken this time around, so I don't expect them to fully take the turret. Well, they'll be getting a few plates. I expect the timer was running a little bit low after all the action we've been having on the Rift. And it sets the turret up nicely if they want to be able to put any base down there once again.
This is an interesting outcome in terms of, we spoke about both of these teams being early game oriented, and it's definitely been the case that a lot of action is happening. But what is actually occurring isn't necessarily, you speak about 2 early game teams, that doesn't necessarily mean anything has to happen in the way of kills. We're just seeing battle lines being drawn. Both teams very hesitant, especially around the dragon areas, scared to make that mistake. You can tell it's such an important fixture for them. And the general styles of both teams is leaning into this very slow-paced style where they snap at a moment's notice. Who will be the first one to make that mistake in that team fight? And that seems to be the general tone of the game so far.
It really does, and I feel like now that K-Corp has started to feel themselves a little more so as 1-1-3, he's getting a bit more aggressive, getting some vision around the red buff as well, and he can do so with, of course, the bot lane being pushed in. Jeskler, not too sure where he is right now. He's sitting in Tribush, just chilling a little bit. Zugenda making his way down as well. We are in a little bit of a low state before.
Ooh, Zugenda! Gonna be a flash out from Saken, but it does land. Charm does land as well. And he's flashed before the 1-1 comes out there. Really uncharacteristic mistake from Saken there to not show the discipline. And just as we talked about how I'd like to see a bit of a slower game from Karmine Corp, Zugenda moves into the mid lane for his first action of the game. He locked into a tank versus tank matchup. He comes forward, he makes his starring role known in the first seconds we see him. Lands onto Saken.
It's why we call them early game teams as well, right? As you said, it's not necessarily that something happened. Something did this time around, but it's because of the fact that, you know, Zugenda, he pushes in topside, moves into the mid lane. And I, generally speaking, did not expect anything to happen. I thought it was just going to be moved down there. Saken was not going to be in range for anything. And he was just going to go back to topside, not miss anything. But at least making use of the pressure that he had on the top side for something. And this is the exact reason why you do it. If you catch anyone off guard, like we just saw Seiken be there, you get something out of it. There's always reason to be on the move. You should never just be in lane and do nothing. Always have a game plan, and Tugenda there displays it beautifully.
I completely agree with you there. I feel almost as if with that death now, it'll be difficult for them to keep the tempo up. They slowed down slightly, but now with the Rift Herald being the way of here, Shigeno obviously not having the ultimate here, if they do choose to go for that fight here. You see Seiken off to the side, Weaver's Wall available. The bot lane for Vitality.B in an extended fight will be here quicker. Be very careful about this. The Cabashot has landed the ultimate onto Diplex. They're going on towards him. They've not managed to find it. Smite comes out. But 113 is the one that's going to fall almost immediately. Karmine Corp taking a fight here where they just are not at a numbers advantage. It was never going to be the case that the bot lane were going to be here in time. This means that 3 kills go the way of Vitality.B. Absolutely horrendous mistakes being made here by Karmine Corp. This could be one more as well. Just a slither of HP Pantera and then execute onto Jeskler. Vitality.B have found their chance in this game. Karmine Corp, what are you doing?
I saw no way that, Vitality initially would be winning that. I thought to myself, 113, he's going to be having the ultimate. He's going to be able to disengage any form of attack coming through from Vitality.B. But Diplex, that legend, once again, 18, 19 years old, lands the charm perfectly for the follow-up with Skeens and Sugenda to come through and immediately just blows up the target, creates a soul for Skeens to possess. And as soon as that has happened, it's just reset on reset. And let's have a look at it once again. There we have it, 113 getting charmed off, just gets the ultimate off at the last second where it's already too late. And once this moment happens, there's nothing to do. Seiken still trying to kite around a little bit, but crucially Jack Troll is on the move. And Jeskler, we can all expect it. We understand it. He's getting hypey. He wants to get in there. Maybe you should have started off with auto attacks, but either way, it's an execute. You're not trading too much for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Not too big of a deal. Would have been nice to get that kill, obviously, as well. And I think the important thing to note is we do see a fight exchanging in the bot lane here. Karmine Corp trying to get something in return for what happened on the top side. I believe during the seconds here, Diplex has one more charge of ult, I believe. One more after this. Does land the charm. 113 has the ultimate, has the Gore Drinker available to give him a little bit more stopping power. The end of that, but Dragon is spawning in around about 18 seconds now. No ult on 113 means his ability to go into these team fights is so much reneged upon, but they are caught now. Skeens has the flash, gonna have to use it any second now, you'd imagine, as the engage does come around off the side, but they couldn't find it. Teleport comes in, Cabashot is here. Will he throw it? He lands it onto Skeens. They need to try and find him. And Terra's Q does not land. Jeskler's done up here. Shigeno off to the side. Look at him. He doesn't have flash here, but can he find his stun? He goes in, he lands onto 3. Diplex, can you get a charm? Away from each other now, not able to find it too much both ways, but now Karmine Corp actually poised to take this Dragon with the position, so many cooldowns being burned. They've done an excellent job here of just waiting out the time, waiting Vitality.B forward. Now Vitality.B not going to be able to commit to a fight, it's going to be a sole point for Karmine Corp.
Unfortunately, Jeskler is just too low, so the difference in AD carries right now is also just showing. 2 items coming through from Reckless. He's level 11. Jeskler is level 9. He's almost 40 CS up. How has this happened in a lane where Reckless barely got any resources? He's managed to come out on top, and I've only just realized it now. Absolutely baffling numbers.
Well, I'll tell you how it's happened here. Karmine Corp make a very bad mistake in this previous engage. You see Reckless committed towards that tier 1 bot lane, committed to getting that extra 3 waves. Jeskler actually goes towards the top side, and although that means that they're guaranteed to win the fight there, Karmine Corp would actually be even further ahead had they chosen not to go for that. They had the conditions of moving towards this Infernal Dragon. They could have set up vision. They go for a faulty fight here, but they still are able to find it. And they could be even further ahead, I think, is the important thing to note upon. This is that kind of over-aggression that we see sometimes for them. Going into the jungle here.
Sure, it's just so interesting because it's not coming off a pick either. It's just by pure pressure that's been amplified. 1 kill so far has gone over to K-Corp. This is a 5-kill game, but it feels like we've had so much more action because both teams are making moves all the time. Unfortunately, no one is falling, but it's a constant fight for pressure on the map.
Absolutely, and it's a slower game. It's a slower way to play it nowadays. All over the Gromp does go the way of Skeens, could precipitate some smite action that we see later. Over the wall now, and they're trying to play towards this tier 1. With Diplex in the bot lane getting that tier 1, it does mean the map is being slightly open now. Karmine Corp trying to get this tier 1 turret, open up the vision around this, be able to move around the map in a lot more of a clear way, move towards that soul point. If they can get this, it's going to be absolutely huge.
You say the game was a little slower, but
Comes the
24
engage
minutes
here.
old, not
Oh,
gonna do
he's
back.
found
Great
Reckless.
flank.
Reckless does not have flash. He gets taken out here. He's been possessed now by Skeens. Skeens is going to go in here. Skeens takes out 113 as well. It's 2 kills. It's over aggression once again from Karmine Corp. Shigenda has a wonderful flank with a teleport there. He finds Reckless, and the Baron spawned up just now. It's going to be really quite difficult with Antera, Seiken, and Kawashar. They've got to do so much in terms of damage here. So much space advantage. Getting onto Jester is going to be a task.
Oh no!
He might have found Diplex. Diplex might have gone a step too far. Ignite does go down onto him. It's been burnt onto him by Kawashar. Jesper. They might have just actually managed to dissuade the Baron against all odds. Diplex takes a step far too forward. The Baron is not gained.
Big mistake from Diplex there. He tried to be the hero, tried to find the pick, but unfortunately just stunts up himself with the, of course, Weaver ground being laid out by Talia. And after that, I have to flash away and the fight is just over. But I have to say it once again, Shigenda on this own continuously finds some incredible flanks. We saw it yesterday as well against the game they of course had with LDLC. Unfortunately, they lost it. But either way, I feel like Ornn is a very limited champion in terms of what you can do on it. But Shigenda continuously shows perfection on it, rather.
Absolutely. Focus your horizons towards the items that have been picked up. We're moving towards a lot of mythic items being completed on pretty much all champions.
All right,
also building towards these second items as well. Now we're staring down.
That.
We're staring down a minute 40 until this soul potentially for 113 and Karmine Corp. An important thing to note is that they've not entirely covered their bases a lot of the time in terms of its uncharacteristic. Characteristic at this point, aggression. They're not covering the vision. The flanks are coming out, and Diplex, if he can find one in the next team fight, he can get that vision set up. It could spell disaster for them. In terms of an entry point for Vitality.B, they've got to try and find their way through the front. Nami ult comes out but doesn't land onto anyone. They're trying to get Hantera here. Hantera has flash though. He's going to flash away, and it's going to be Shigenda who's getting caught out. He's the one to have to flash away here. Teleport, not quite timed there. That is just a base animation. Vitality.B, Skeens running away. Crucial cooldowns burnt that might not necessarily be available just about in time. You'd imagine the Ornholm
Yeah, you're completely
just
right
about in time.
that. 1 minute for this Elder Drake, not quite yet. But Infernal Soul nonetheless for K-Corp. Look at the vision control around it. 3 pink wards just laying across the entrance. You want to get in through the river? You can't. You want to get in through the ramp? You can't. And even towards that tri boost down towards the bottom side of it, they already have a ward. So entrance to this, in terms of contesting the vision control, is near impossible. And now with no ultimates, looking for Jeskla.
Try and go fishing for Jester there, but he's got a fish of his own to buff him up and speed him out of there. It's going to be the case that they can quite find him there, but now, as you speak, the entry to the pit, they have actually surprisingly been able to worm their way into here. Whether or not they can get unburrowed by Karmine Corp is another question for the ensuing seconds here. So important that Karmine Corp 113 has to use the ultimate here. Does get charmed out. He's taken so much damage, but has so many cooldowns here. Now the dragon spawning in around 5 seconds or so. Karmine Corp play with this mid wave. They need to find a way in. It's them who are having to answer to the entry point control. The bouncers of Vitality.B say, this club of soul is not for you. We will club you over the head with our aggressiveness. And they are stopping Hantera being able to find his way in here. Hantera not having flash, having to walk away from it. Vitality.B have not started the dragon yet. Surely they will do now.
Oh yeah, Vitality, they managed to fight off K-Corp here and they can pick up the Drake for themselves. No kill comes through, but once again, it's a battle for pressure. It's a war of attrition, and Vitality.B this time around, they win it. They don't lose anything on the cross map. Just all in all, great trade for them in terms of regaining control of the Drake here.
War of attrition, Vitality.B able to lambast in the fruits of nutrition from getting that Infernal Dragon, stop the Infernal Soul win condition for Karmine Corp. So much of it is coming down to these neutral objectives, Fullborg. It's not a game of kills, it's a game of movement. And Vitality.B starting to be a bit more fluid now, able to find these flanks, get this vision. And Karmine Corp starting to slow down. You spoke about how early in the game they were able to find these continuous dragons, really be the ones to set pressure and tonality around these dragons. It's slowly starting to feel like the momentum is going back in the favor of Vitality.B.
But I feel like it can swing by this, like the toss of a coin in this instance. It's just about who really finds the right pickup here. So far, K-Corp, they are the team that stays grouped together. They are the team who's looking for it. Reckless still have a pretty good level lead against his opponent in Jeskla. Items 2.5. Jeskla now finally starting to catch up a little bit, but either way, if one member gets caught by the CC that is on K-Corp, it'll be very difficult for Pilot. And specifically for Diplex on the RE, level 15. The threat he has is currently not as big as it could have been in any other matchup, just due to the fact that every time he moves forward, there's a Talia taking care of him with the B-Wood ground, or just a Nautilus looking for a hook immediately with the ultimate follow-up.
Couldn't agree with how you phrased that there, Gorbok, how important it is that that is what it ends up transpiring in this game. And now Karmine Corp at a point we've seen them so many times this season, and it's almost, it feels as if they have to flip a coin somewhat in terms of what Karmine Corp we're going to see. Are we going to see the Karmine Corp that can turn around the impossible team fight? Are we going to see the Karmine Corp that are almost too hesitant in what they're able to do here? You see the ultimate come out from Kabashard. 1-1-3 is in now. A lot has been avoided, but they're having to work to find their way back now. Saken taking so much damage from the culling. Ornhorn comes out, does land on direct as well, but they've avoided the initial engage for now. Ornhorn has been used. Culling has been used, and only in responses to Sejuani. Xin Zhao ultimate. Those cooldowns are shorter. Karmine Corp a little bit of time to play with now.
Good kite back from the side of Corp. Vitality.B unfortunately not in a position where they can layer up their CC due to that fact. And no one will fall this time around. So once again, it continues happening, Junjie. We just don't get a kill after these small skirmishes come through.
So much ability to kind of dash away, get away from kind of the fingers being clawed upon the arms of Karmine Corp. Especially Vitality.B as well, having so much ability to kind of fight in and out, use the Ornal in an engage or a disengage. There are options for them going forward and backwards. And this game is a back and forth affair, I think it's fair to say, but obviously staring down 2 minutes now until that dragon. That is going to be another chance for Karmine Corp to soar ahead in this matchup. Vitality.B have to come up with another answer in 2 minutes. They've got to be creative, they've got to be fluid. We've seen them do it so far.
And once again, the tension between those teams, the rivalry that's kind of been built here. LFL, once again, semi-finals against each other at European Masters. Corp last time around, reverse swept Vitality moving forward. Do take the cup at European Masters this time around, looking to take the best of one. Hantera looking.
They found Jack Troll. Ultimate from Reckless comes out. He gets taken out. That's your Blonde Bomber delivering a bombshell there. That's going to be a very good pick for them to find. Can they now move forward in the mid lane, able to take that tier 2, get some more vision around this Baron area? This might not be the killing blow in this game, but it certainly will mean their advantages around this Baron area, their ability to trade that in the future. I imagine that will be increased now.
Yes, but something people don't often take into the account is just like, oh, it's only support that died. Yes, but the fact of that in competitive is that's the guy with all the vision. He's the guy with the wards who needs to move forward into the Drake pit, regaining this control. While there's still 1 minute to do that,
engage onto Jester!
Looking.
They find him! He's gone quite low now. 1-1-3 is going to have to be taking him out here. And Terror off to the side. Reckless has avoided so much, but he gets taken out by Diplex. Bacon's in the back line doing consistent DPS. They've got to try and find Viego. He's almost getting the reset now. He has the ultimate available in stasis. He's going to be getting that now. He takes out Hantera, and Saken's going to be the one getting Renee's off. He has to flash away, but he's going to be taken out here. And you thought they found Jesper, but all they find is a 4-4-1, and it is Vitality.B that are winning this team fight now. They're going to take the Baron, and with the dragon spawning in around 25 seconds or so, I have to imagine that Karmine Corp fans are in tatters as they see their chances of winning this Super Week Game 2 decimate.
Incredible team fighting coming through from Vitality then, specifically Sugenda, Skeen, Stiplace, all three of them showing up. It's the members we've already highlighted, with Jeskla out of the fight, Dractro too late to it. They're the one who's mechanically outplaying the opponents, and what a team fight to come through. Oh, they might not be done, Jake, because teleports are coming through from this Drake. Reset's still coming through from the side of Vitality.B. This might even be solved for Corp despite Vitality.B just being able to pick up the Baron for themselves.
Decision that Vitality.B have had to make there. They've won the team fight, they've borne the fruits of that Baron, but now they might be staring down their eviction from the Garden of Eden as Karmine Corp are able to get that Infernal Soul. They are revitalized even after a severe defeat. They've got that soul now, and you have to imagine, even with the gold lead, this is going to bring them up to par somewhat. Eyes on Reckless, eyes on Saken. These are your consistent damage dealers. It's so important for them to be able to navigate, put out as much damage as possible, because the damage is coming from so many different directions with Vitality.B.
You said it is certainly something to look forward to. Corp now looking
engage
for
from Kabashard, they found
again.
Jeskla again! Namiot comes out to dissuade it. 1-1-3 is in, and they get Jeskla. The culling is doing a lot of damage. They've not quite managed to find him here. Diplex off to the side, he goes in. If I landed the charm, but he gets Hantera. They've avoided it. What could have been an absolute disaster. Kabashard has landed ultimate onto Jeskla, but they are ultimately able to avoid it and get away from it. But Karmine Corp are going to be going into the mid lane, getting more turrets for themselves.
But I'm mind blown as to how Capuchons keep finding Jeskler with that. So again, I thought he was going to be blocking that one. It's like it almost curves around him and still manages to find the enemy AD carry, but manages to stay alive. So again, just a great job appealing. Forced to flash out of it at the end. Diplex joins once again, and once he joins the party, well, they are backing completely off Diplex. Close to level 18 would be the first on the map to hit that. So, of course, a lot of damage from his side you're going to have to respect.
Upgraded Everfrost now, even more ability to seize up and perhaps make the difference in these fights. We've seen him do it before. He's got to be so careful. It's important to note that although these team fights are going the way somewhat of Vitality.B in recent memory, one misstep could spell disaster. Does a spell out absolute defeat for them if they do make that misstep. Now, obviously, now with the Baron going to be trying to take out more of these turrets, and it really can't be demonstrated or expressed more that how highly of a contested affair this is between these two teams. Now at 30 minutes, now that tier 2 now, the gold still only around 3.5k. Ornholt comes out here, going to be landed onto Forsaken, but he goes into stasis. Chigenda gets engaged on stasis as well. Namiots come out here. Diplex has found 113 for the time being. Jeskler is low though. They're going to have to take out Chigenda before they can get to the rest of the back line. Any sort of reset schemes wasn't here. It could be dangerous. It seems like just cooldowns being exchanged for now. It's the affair that has been since the dawn of time in this game. Just back and forth team fights. We're not going to see any advantages gained until these neutral objectives.
Yeah, but they get the objective either way, so it's still a little bit of a win coming through from Vitality there. And crucially, it's a 5 versus 4 situation throughout all of it. Skeens was pushing in the mid lane, joined the fight way too late. And Chigenda, just no one's able to cut through him, despite the fact that K-Corp is sitting with 2 Infernal Drakes and the Infernal Soul paired up with that.
Absolutely, Gulborg. So back and forth this game that it's so important that someone takes this Elder Dragon, someone takes this Baron. Certainly to say in 3 minutes or so, the nerves are going to be mounting, the pressure is going to be there, all are going to be available, the summoners should all be up for all people unless we get a skirmish before that time. Who will be the first to hesitate? Who will be the one to win the game for each respective team? Such an important fixture in terms of the grudge match, in terms of moving into that second pocket alongside Game Ward. You can imagine both of these teams hungry for it. They smell blood in the water, both sides wounded heavily throughout this game. Who can deal the killing blow?
Yeah, okay.
K-Corp
taking control of mid lane. B responded to.
Has to initially use that ultimate almost immediately. Culling has been used but wasted. Look
Jump.
at Diplex off to the side here. 113's in stasis, but they're going to try and find him here. Diplex over the wall now. They found 113. Can they get the reset? Schemes goes in, but he doesn't get anything. Lawless Ult comes out though. Shigenda's going to be the one who falls down here. Reckless is doing so much damage over the wall now. And although the initial engage came out from Vitality.B, they are the ones with their tails tucked between their legs, having to scarf her back to base as Karmine Corp. The damage differential being made up by that soul is going to mean that they are firing through soulfully onto the rest of this game.
5 versus 4, they get 1 kill finally. As you say, they push down the mid lane. They can take care of a few jungle camps on their way out. But more realistically speaking, what this game shows, the control of the red side jungle, it's a good pressure point to have when Elder Drake is coming up in 1 minute and 40 seconds. And while it will get cleared up by Vitality.B once their reset starts coming through, it's still extra time and extra control of the map they're going to have to take back. So once again, I don't think that fight initially changes much. It takes away a few cooldowns, it takes away a few summoner spells. But outside of that, it's still going to be even footing between these two teams while they walk into the next fight. Yes, there's a 2k gold lead coming on from Vitality.B, but whoever gets picked up in these fights, they will just die unless it's Chigenda, because that man is absolutely unkillable.
Very much being the case in this game that we continually see both of these tanks be the one having to bear the brunt of an onslaught of damage, everything being thrown at them, and it's who can get through that mountainous mass and really dig into the flesh and the rib cage of each team. Teleport comes out from Cabochard, the charm does go wide here. Teams, and the ultimate comes out. Cabochard known for getting that ultimate onto Jeskler so many times. Ornholt comes out. The Nami wave has landed onto Forsaken. He's having to do so much. They get Skins into the stasis here, into Guardian Angel, but they found 113. Diplex is away now. Jeskler's going to be getting caught up by the Nautilus Hook. Oh, 30 seconds before the Elder, it is going to be 113 getting caught out. It's 1-4-1. 3 times it's occurred, and we might be heading to a absolutely pinnacle of an Elder fight here. Karmine Corp having to do so much from a deficit. If they lose this fight, they might just lose the game as well. They have to consider their odds here. It's a great ultimate from Reckless to do a little bit of damage here. Taken off to the side now. Schemes, his GA burnt in the previous fight.
this exchange. So much has to be done here. Look at Reckless, your bomb bomber. Can he deliver a bombardment, a rampant display here that might be what is able to bring Karmine Corp back into this game now? The Elder Dragon spawning. They're buying so much time for 113 to get back in here. They've done so much here. The Orn ult going to be available in about 10 seconds or so. Look at Saken off to the side now. Elder Dragon goes down 8 seconds or so. Jessica
that's huge.
has to use that. They get schemes here with no GA. It's one fight, and Karmine Corp at a deficit. They find Saken. Namiot's going to land on the 3. Reckless is getting out here. The Elder Dragon is going ever so low now. 5k. Legenda's going to be in the pit, but he's going to get taken out here. They get Jack Troll as well. 113. He's in the pit now. Legenda. It's off to the side now. The jungler's being taken out. They're going to get the Elder Dragon. They're going to get a fight at a deficit even. And Karmine Corp at the dawn of odds come up clutch.
And it comes from Saken. He gets back from the Drake pick. He finds the pick up on towards Ski and Tugenda. And as soon as they are down, it's so difficult for the rest of the members to pilot the fight. 113 finally respawns. He's there for the pickup. Diplex, he's not on vision. Can you get a pick up here? Looks for the charm. Does not manage it.
Managed to do it there now at the numbers disadvantage. And previously, we've seen in the last minute, Karmine Corp will take you 4v5. They will take you at a disadvantage. They will take whatever they can. Give them a finger, they'll take your whole arm, and they're doing it right now. The Elder Dragon and the Baron being taken. Vitality.B now, despite being the ones in recent minutes who have been edging up against that wall of aggression, now forced to consider their odds. Karmine Corp are rattling through this game.
Yeah, Jack Troll tried to step up there, just ignited, but the tick up didn't come through before 113 back, so just a wasted summoner spell. And now, we had all the resets coming through from K-Corp. Actually, K-Corp as well, waiting for Saken to respawn so he could be part of that Baron power play as well. It's going to be looking very scary. They could just run down any lane they prefer to. They're setting up on 2 lanes right now. Saken's going to be pushing in the bot side. Going to try and sync that up with the mid lane wave being pushed in as well. Infernal Soul, Elder Drake, Baron coming through here as well. This is looking like a late game where it's K-Corps to take and loose.
See now, can they close out the game? Can they open up this base? It's going to give them such an advantage. Be able to take your shots when they're given to you, and Karmine Corp have been landed the golden opportunity in the penalty box now. They've got to take their confidence, take that and strike it well and hard through into Vitality.B's base. Elder Dragon now as well, and the mid lane turret. It's going down, it's an engage from Cabochard. Jack Troll has to use that McHale's on himself, crucial. Gonna be able to use that in case Gessler gets stunned up here. Now Karmine Corp are onto the base now. Cabochard off to the side now. Ornhorn's not been able to do much here. 113 with the wave here. They're just going to be going onto it. Look at the Weaver's Wall. It's creating so much space for them. Shigenda might just die. The one more key. Reckless has found it. They've gotten it. And this is a credible performance from Karmine Corp. They strike through and they're looking at a 6-2. Karmine Corp Reckless ease forward aggressively. The blonde bombshell with a bombardment. And they take out Vitality.B. And they're going to be marching towards that joint second place at the stadium with 16,000 people. They have 16,000 answers to everything Vitality.B throws at them.